Up next we have James Donnelly to the stage. Round of applause, Donnelly.
Hello. You alright? I said, are you alright? Yeah, that's better. Right, I don't know if you know, but in American schools they have somewhat of a tradition called a fight song. And so I decided to kind of adapt that into a fight poem for myself. Problem is that the person I'm usually fighting is me. So this one's called Paper Toy. Between the heavy rollers of head and heart, a thin sheet is produced on this busy day's start. This compression of opportunity for joy is depression, playing with me like a toy. It articulates my limbs whilst I fail to articulate my feelings. It moves me round the house and I'm left thieving and stealing. Moments of levity traded for stony severity. Emotional chastity becoming a case of charity. This thin, long plane that offers only pain is due to the blinkers being placed over my internal thinkers. The analyst, the philosopher, the poet can imagine another place and grow it, but this long, flat surface is all I can see despite knowledge of its purpose. To crush me, to wear me down, to jostle the joystick and fly me into the ground. But I'm going to fight it. This flight pattern, I'll write it. This cigarette, I will light it. And this cathartic poem, I'll write it. Because I refuse to lose. Right now, I will choose to say no to the conclusion foregone. I'm leaving the goddamn ignition on. And I'm going to floor it. And at the end of the day, when I score it, I'm going to give myself 10 out of 10 just for not folding back into bed again. And hiding beneath a duvet and spending the day that way. And ignoring my hunger or obligation and ramming full speed with no hesitation. Because if my ego can punish me for going too fast, then I can hijack that ego and make the speed last. Take over the wheel and ride this day hard. In my own car chase I will have starred. And I'll die and be reborn tomorrow, when my legs and my guts will feel hollow, when my head and my heart only retain sorrow. Right now, for this minute, I will borrow. I'll owe myself debt, likely in the shape of regret, but for now, today, this minute, let's fucking do it. Thank you. This next one, if I remember it, is called Ego Tripping. Inside my mind's eye, there are fruit flies of wisdom. They vomit knowledge onto my cortex whilst my ego swipes at them. No matter how I try, I keep getting in the way of truth, that brain-teasing little thing so abstract, beyond aloof. So I take my brain to another dimension, somewhere out of space, and I adjourn into a 4D world as I get totally out my face. I start tripping over balls, psychological medusas, fears that turn me into stone as my resolution reduces. I try to rectify this wild ride by refocusing my attention. I sit, listen to my breath, and reassert my intention. To void myself of me and I, to kill my ego and to testify, to break apart the pieces of me before I calcify. If you wipe the muck from my skin and tear the dirt from my eyes, you can reveal nothing underneath. No me for me to find. The skeleton upon which my ego rests is nothing more than an icon. I'm just as much the shadows as the wall its darkness writes on. But then it all unravels, as you can plainly see, because I haven't reached nirvana. I've used the words I, my, and me. Because my own mind weighs heavy on me. My own mind never lets me be free of who I am and what I've done and who I've hurt and what I've become. It causes me anxiety, and I get wrapped up in negativity, and I shut down, apparently. Apparently because it will appear that way, with my pursed lips and my fixed stare and with nothing to say, but inside my head, 1,000 conversations are happening out of sync. That's a kilogram of voices all telling me what I should think. But the words, they aren't mine, they're borrowed and they're blue. Because I'm wed to people, I can't assume. All that I am is borrowed. All that I am is picked up. All that I am, you give me. And what you give out, you will always get back. Now those voices, they can be seething, they can be antagonistic, those voices can be hype men, they can be unrealistic. This myriad of voices that I refer to as me divides into facets, perhaps infinitely. But that which I call me, I don't want anymore. No trap of identity shake me to my core. No more investment in mischoices or advice unheeded, and instead the ability to mould my world into something that is needed. Ego death. Move my pride, wear my brain on the outside, see each moment as the now, open the eye between the brow. But with no identity, I have no meaning. And without any meaning, how can I say what I'm feeling? Life is chaos, life is random, anything is possible, but everything is transient. But basically, there's choice one or there's choice two. Do it for us or do it for you. Because I comes before we, until you get to see that you have no claim to superiority. We all tell ourselves that we embrace heroism, but we're all villains of egoic hedonism. Because viewing yourself honestly can breed some real pain and breed some self-doubt and breed some disdain for a you that you didn't realise you were, for the things you let happen and you made occur, because you're part of a system but you're not alienated. You're part of a picture, you're not isolated. We all exist in a sea of information with little reason or rhyme, and we try to make sense of it by placing it in time, but past and future don't exist. That's just a concept. It's the ghost of your ego unwilling to accept that it was dead the minute it was created. Its necessity in this world had already been sated as new things happened and new yous were born, yet still your mind and body, your ego has worn. So tear it off, separate it by hand, kill off your ego and embrace Neverland, because you're ego tripping. We're all ego tripping. Thank you. This next one is the first poem I sent into Mouthpiece Poets, and it's the one that I got accepted on, so it seems somewhat fitting for my first word of mouth event to read it out to you. And it's called Instrumental. I'm submerged, I'm subordinate, and I'm submissive. I don't want to speak politely, so I'll speak in cursive. Cursing with my mouth ink, all form constricted, my full eloquence is unfaithful, constricted. But the vocabulary of my heart beats different to my tongue, a rhythm I remember from when I was young, before cynical shuffles and a grown-up music sheet left me off kilter, filtered with two left-wing feet. My tongue plays a solo that's full of defeat, but my heart beats that familiar beat, 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 beat. So I soliloquize reasons for lying to me, bombarded with eons of useless terminology. My strings are untuned and my horns are all worn, yet still that beat, beat from before I was born. Maybe I should raise the arm and adjust the stylus. Maybe I should reverse Dylan, go acoustic and wireless. Maybe I should do covers of other people's lives. Maybe I should sing songs about other people's wives. Crescendo, tempo change, arpeggio chord, learning all these motifs that I cannot afford. I'll put the keyboard down, maybe for a day, and leave the music to someone else, because I don't want to play. But that beat goes on and on and on inside my head. That beat goes on and on and on until I'm dead. The beat goes up towards my spine. Shit, apologies. The beat rises towards my head, encircling my spine like Kundalini. This beat's a snake, this beat is serpentine. The snare, venom and kick body propel me into battle, and that snake picks up the beat, adding in a rattle. The beat, it never stops. The drum, it makes no loss. My heart is a drum machine, and it's beat Ouroboros. Thank you. Thank you very much.